Case Study 3, Roda Enterprise Purchase and Cash Disbursement System by Paciolli. I am Nurul Izzah Binti Rosman. My metric number is 273719 and I will present Part A, Question A regarding the diagram for purchase and cash disbursement system of Roda Enterprise. Let's take a look for a table of entities and activities, a context diagram, a logical data flow diagram, and a flow chart. The table of entities and activities. The first entities that involved in this purchase and cash disbursement system is the inventory control department. Their main task in this system is to prepare purchase requisition and send it to purchase department through email. The next is purchasing department. Their main task is to prepare purchase order and send it to valid supplier to place the order. Next, receiving department. Their main task is to receive goods from supplier and prepare the receiving report. The next is storeroom department. Their main task is to place the goods at the shelf. Lastly, account payable department. In this case, account payable department need to carry two tasks which are updating account payable and submit payment to the supplier. This is the context diagram for purchase and cash disbursement system of Roda Enterprise. From this context diagram, we can see that there are three entities involved. The first entity is inventory control department. Inventory control clerk will send the purchase requisition to the purchase and cash disbursement system of Roda Enterprise. Next, purchase order system will send the first copy of purchase order to the supplier. The supplier will send the good with the packing slip to the system, and the system will send the first and third copy of receiving report to the storeroom department and inventory control department. Lastly, the supplier will send the supplier invoice to the purchase and cash disbursement system, and the cash disbursement system will send the signed check to the supplier. Let's go through the data flow diagram. In this data flow diagram, we can see that there are 9 processes with 3 entities. The first process is monitor inventory record and prepare purchase requisition by inventory control department. Next process is prepare and print purchase order and send to the supplier and other related department. These processes are run by purchasing department. Next is receiving good and prepare receiving report by receiving department. The receiving report are sent to account payable department and other related department. The next is update account payable by using supplier invoice and receiving report. The next process is post to general ledger. This process is run by both inventory control clerk and account payable clerk. The next process is identify liability dues by account payable department. After that, the check will be prepared by account payable clerk and will be sent to the manager for approval and signature before send it to the supplier. The second last process is update account payable based on check number, payment date and account payable summary. The last process is post to general ledger. Lastly, let's go through the flow chart. From this flow chart, we can see that there are 6 departments involved. Firstly, this shape is the terminator. Inventory control department is a terminator and it monitors the inventory subsidiary ledger. This shape means dispatch or storage. Next, they will prepare purchase requisition and send it to purchasing department through email. This shape means document. In the second department, which is purchasing department, they prepare and print 3 copies of purchase order. This shape means an operation. The first copy is sent to supplier. The second copy is sent to the receiving department, while the third copy is filed in purchase order file. The receiving department will file the purchase order in temporary file while waiting for goods to be received. Supplier will send the goods with packing slip. After that, receiving clerk will reconcile the goods and prepare 4 copies of receiving report. This shape means a manual operation. The first copy will be sent to storeroom department to be filed in storeroom department. The second copy will be sent to account payable department. The third copy will be sent to receiving department before they post to general ledger and update inventory. In this flowchart, we are using connector A to show the flow of this transaction. Next, upon receiving the receiving report, the account payable clerk will file in temporary file, which means the shape means file. Then they will receive supplier invoice and they will update account payable and post to general ledger. For cash disbursement system, the account payable clerk will review the account payable subsidiary ledger. They will prepare payment voucher and check and send them to the manager. In this process, the manager will approve the payment voucher and will sign the check. The check will be mailed to the supplier while the approved payment voucher is kept into the file with supplier invoice and receiving report in the account payable department. Lastly, they will update account payable and update general ledger.
Hi, my name is Ainul Farihah Binti Abdul Fatta. My metric number is 273444. Let's see 3 possible strengths of internal control in Roda Enterprise purchase and cash disbursement. Firstly, the possible strength is when they implement password control by equip their staff with a desktop computer that is protected with their staff own login and password. In this case, the director is very tactful by taking great precautionary steps to prevent unauthorized transaction in purchasing or cash disbursement by this employee, and whenever interested in fraud, as we know how digital accounting records are vulnerable to unauthorized access. Therefore, by having password control, the company can operate in a safe way. Next, independent verification, as it provides relevant information when they inspect and reconcile the item against the information in the purchase order and packing slip. It will prevent the company from receiving wrong items, incorrect quantities, or damaged goods and inaccurately record. The reliable and accurate information that will result in receiving report will prevent the storeroom department from fraud when they receive goods to be shelved and ease their task to update the inventory subsidiary ledger. In conclusion, heavy independent verification can run their task smoothly. The last possible strength is when they apply transaction authorization by sending the payment voucher and check to manager for approval and signature. Transaction authorization is one of the deductive control, and it is crucial to ensure that only valid transactions are. All in all, authorized transactions promote efficient and legitimacy of purchase transactions with correct amount and valid suppliers. Now, let's see 5 possible weaknesses in Roda Enterprise purchase and cash disbursement. Firstly, RRE Roda Enterprise does not have an official email for their own staff. Instead, they use the staff personal email when making purchasing order. Personal email can be quite problematic since it mixes up all the matters that involve both work and personal life. Next, Roda Enterprise is lack of supervision and transaction authorization. In this case, the purchasing clerk did not ask for approval printing the purchase order and sending it to the suppliers and receiving department. Transaction authorization and supervision are needed to ensure that information is valid. Next, the weaknesses that can be identified when the receiving department only send the receiving report. This will complicate the process for the storeroom department to reconcile the items received without the purchase order and the packing slip. Receiving report should only be kept in the receiving department for future reference. This will make it difficult when the company wants to trace any transaction in the future. Roda-roda enterprise also lack of segregation of duties. It is very important because it ensures that there is oversight and review to catch error. In this case, we can see that the storekeeper update the inventory subsidiary ledger and the general ledger. Both storeroom and inventory control are two different departments. Hence, the different clerks should update the ledger only that is related to each of the departments, as incorrect information may be recorded. Lastly, the weaknesses that found in the Roda-roda enterprise is when the account payable clerk update both the account payable subsidiary ledger and account payable control account in general ledger. When different clerks key in the same information to the account, there is a possibility for the inaccurate information to occur as well as allow the information to be manipulated, resulting in a destroying an audit trail and fraud or thief may occur.
Hello, my name is Mohammad bin Suffian. I create number 273779, and today I will present about the risk and internal control of Roda-roda enterprise. The risk from 5 weaknesses are inaccurate information and unauthorized inventory purchase, transaction and information invalidity, inaccurate record keeping, fraud and inaccurate recording transaction, and unauthorized access of counting records. For the first risk, inaccurate information arises from the method of purchasing procedure of using personal email and phone calls, whereas for unauthorized inventory purchase, it arises because the company does not practice the use of purchase requisition to gain approval before purchasing. For the second risk, transaction and information invalidity. This risk arises when the clerk sends the purchase order to both the supplier and receiving department without getting a supervisor approval. This may allow a wrong purchase to be made because of wrong information. The third risk is inaccurate record keeping. This risk arises when the receiving department clerk only sends the receiving report to the storeroom when both receiving report and packing slip should be sent. This will make it difficult to trace any transaction in the future. The fourth risk is fraud and inaccurate recording transaction. This risk arises when the storekeeper shelves the good and updates both inventory and general ledger by himself, allowing him to manipulate the data. The last risk is unauthorized access of accounting records. This risk arises when the account payable clerk updates both the account payable ledger and general ledger when it should be recorded by two different clerks. This allows the clerk to manipulate the information. The internal control of each risk are independent verification and transaction authorization, appointing a supervisor, automatic posting to accounts, implement segregation of duties, and access control. The first internal control, independent verification, will compare the purchase order with the inventory ledger to identify any error in the amount needed for purchase. Next, transaction authorization will use a purchase requisition document to approve the purchase of inventory needed by the department. For the second internal control, appointing a supervisor. This way, the purchasing clerk can immediately obtain a supervisor approval for the purchase order as well as check for the validity of the information and transaction. This will prevent any invalid transaction from occurring. The third internal control is by using automated posting to account. As the computer is not subjected to human mistakes such as forgetfulness, it will decide which account to update. This will improve the efficiency of operation and will be easier to trace any transaction as the accounting records are in the proper departments. The fourth internal control is by implementing segregation of duties. Therefore, only the respective clerk of each department will be able to update their own ledger. This will prevent any department from intervening with each other and prevent fraud and inaccurate transactions. The last internal control is by using access control. The company should only give access to specific users. This way, other clerks are not allowed to access and intervene in the accounting records of other departments, preventing any sort of fraud from happening.
Hi, my name is Nurul Zawani Binti Bahari and my metric number is 273845. So, in this video, I want to explain about Part B, which is about 5 ways to apply information technology to transform a business from a conventional platform to digital business operation. Okay, question of all, have you ever heard of COVID-19 in your entire life? Yes, of course we are all have heard about it, right? We are almost ruined our 2020 life because of this. Little did we know that COVID-19 has created a global economic crisis when the government has imposed Movement Control Order (MCO) starting from March 18, this transformed into an economic and labour market shock, impacting all businesses regardless of their size and even worse for small and medium-sized enterprises. SME play an important role in the development and growth of the Malaysian economy as they constitute about 98.5% or nearly 1 million of all business establishments and provided 66.2% of total employment in 2018. The Prime Minister also announced that Malaysia are facing an expected economic loss of RM63 billion from the MCO, and the economy is now reopening to a new normal. Due to this new normal, the government has enforced SMEs to embark on extensive technology utilization, which includes the transformation from a conventional platform to digital business operation for productivity-driven growth, resilience and competitiveness over the longer term. Digital business use technology to make a replacement value in business model, customer experience and therefore the internal capability that support the core operation. It changed the way organizations think about technology, moving technology from a supporting player to a leading player in innovation, revenue and market growth that other traditional business cannot offer. Regardless of all those problems, here are 5 ways to transform a business from a conventional platform to digital business operation. The first way is by using new technology, for example, to remote work and online business platform. So, subsidized or free broadband access and direct technical support will be provided to the SME. This may help SME to attach with online business so that the business can manage its revenue and expenditure cycle although during this pandemic. The second way is SME should encourage its employees to learn and adapt with new technologies and online business so that their business can run efficiently. The employee can learn how to use any online application in managing the business revenue and expenditure cycle. Instead of conventional platforms, for example using normal invoice and file, online applications are much easier in way to share the information among the employees and also the employer. These online applications are also more accurate and easier to understand, which can minimize the argument or conflict within the business. The third way is SME can do IT financial management, which means the oversight of expenditures required to deliver IT products and services. The discipline is based on traditional enterprise financial and accounting best practice that maintain documentation of expenses and requiring regular audit and reports. IT financial management methods and practices are adapted to deal with the particular requirement of managing IT assets and resources. The IT financial management can provide the SME with an accurate and complete view of spending for all IT resources, which can optimize the IT spending and increase profitability. The fourth way is SME should enhance their business by using enterprise resource planning (ERP) software to manage financial, sales and business operations. The ERP system helps business to integrate the flow of data between the various business processes while integrating business transactions with the financial system of the company in the real time. helps to cover the four phases that start from sales order entry and continue to production, product pricing, inventory and warehouse, procurement, invoicing, shipping or delivery, financial and other business processes. The management can also view the financial implication at a high level and make more strategic decisions. The last way is SME can involve the Technopreneur Development Program Express by Bahari, which is a one-month program that ensures specific solution for specific product or process for the SME. TDP Express is developed to accelerate the implementation of digital technology and customers to equip SME with digital solution to migrate their business to online platform, fulfilling the need of businesses recovering from the economic impact of COVID-19 for participants across all sectors. In conclusion, SME should not give up with their business, especially during this pandemic, because this may lead to more unemployment. So, SME could make a paradigm shift in business thinking by adopting new technology in all aspects of business operation. So, that's all from us, Paciolli. Thank you.